Okay. Let's see if it's working. Yeah, that's working. And let's see if the sound is working. I see it spinning. Oh, there it goes. I hear it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA. We fight for mail and marketing every day. Yep, we do. So I had a nice talk with Andrew Ettinger. He's joined the WDMA, and I learned something. I learned something really important. I'm not going to share it, but we're going to have an interview one of these days with Andrew, and I'm such a huge fan as he's just doing the fundamentals in such a great way, as a printer, but as a marketer, and he's integrated the two, and I really haven't seen many people do it, so I'm really proud of Andrew. Anyway, we'll get to him one of these days when he can find the time to do a call. We'll have it'll be groundbreaking, and he keeps doing these nutty commercials. I'm gonna do some of those also. But let's get over to Tom Fishburne. Decisions. Long-term brand building with no clear impact on sales, or short-term performance marketing that devalues the brand. Okay? And he says that this is a false choice between brand and performance. I titled it Between Sales and Brand, but I think it's, I've seen it a lot. And in a volatile business environment like this, there's often pressure to shift gears and budgets from long-term brand building to short-term performance marketing that drive quick sales. I recently reread Tom Roach's excellent 2020 essay called The Wrong and Short of It, which we're going to touch on just in a minute. His piece goes after one of the classic false choices in marketing, a binary decision between short-termism and long-termism. Long-termism. Okay. As he puts it, short-termism and long-termism are both just wrong-termism. So let's end that false choice between long and short-term marketing tactics. Maximize the compound effects of getting them working together in harmony and start to close the value-destroying divide between brand and performance marketing. It's limiting marketing effectiveness, brand growth when we've never needed them more. Okay, and Les Bennett says the addiction to the short term is not a new phenomenon, but has gotten worse. One of the problems is that short-term activities, you get immediate feedback. Right? Responses, clicks, short-term sales. If you're a marketer who's spending money and nervous about what you're getting for your money, you can immediately see that this stuff pays back. Immediately see. It becomes easier and easier to see the short-term effects because we have more granular short-term data that comes through faster and faster. The real reason why business is becoming short-termist, it's not the quarterly reporting, it's not the short tenure of marketing, it's the data, which is a really interesting thing that you get an indictment of data. And I think there's a lot of truth in it. Okay, as many businesses panic and shift everything to door number 2, this creates opportunities for marketers who can create elusive door number 3, continuing to invest in both the long term and the short term in order to see a boost in both. I like how Tom Roach puts this goal. Brands should be aiming to create long-term communications engineered for immediate success. And what's really interesting is that's exactly what I was trained to do from day one. From day one in my marketing training, here's a great example of it. Okay, here's a great example. Let's go to the big cam. The Bass Pro catalog, okay? Celebrating 50 years, okay? 50 years, not that long in my lifetime. Okay, the world's leading supplier of premium fishing tackle. You know, all these images, if you look at them, are about the history of Bass Pro. Is that going to sell a fishing lure? No, probably not, okay? It's long-term branding. And on the back, we have a special for fishing shirts, which I really like these fishing shirts. I need to get a couple of these, so I maybe should get that one right there. It would be great if there was a QR code to take me right to that shirt, to that item, because they're whole. And okay, so and then here's more branding. Branding. Now you say, well, yeah, that's sure. That's great when you have, here's the World's Fishing Fair. That's great when you have 500 pages. But, even well into the catalog, every page is telling you a story about the quality of the item, about why it'll help you catch more fish. Crappie catching starts here. Every page, and then what happens is in the category starts out with a introduction like that, and then it descends into the product. Okay, and so when I started, I mean, this is what I got a couple more catalogs laying here. I just lay them down. Direct marketing, I was taught from day one to do both. You always want to be talking about your quality, your company, why you have good customer service. You always want to have a good guarantee. You want to make it easy for people to order. All those things, none of them sell per se, right? I mean, they dovetail into the customer experience. But we always want to generate a response. That's the other thing with direct marketing. You always want to generate a response. Okay? Give people a reason. There's always a reason built in to give us a call. It's never just brand. So, and it doesn't matter if it's a one-page flyer, a postcard, both should be done. And that was one of the things that Andrew and I were talking about. We were talking about the difference in the way he helps. Mainly he works in the home repair space, with HVAC or lawn or tree trimming or, stuff around your house. And mostly they're taking a long-term view, because today you probably don't need a tree cut down, but you might if a hurricane hits. And he was telling me about a guy that just does mail, does about 20,000 pieces a month, just over and over and over and over. And when Sandy hit, which was not even a hurricane, but it was full moon, so the tides were high, and that's why it pushed a lot of water into places that weren't used to it. It also blew down a lot of trees. And this guy's just always busy because he consistently markets for the long term. And Andrew asks people when he starts with them, he says, how many customers do you have, and how many bought in the last 12 months? And whatever that number, it shows you that not all of them are buying every year. And he says, well, what if we can get that number up? There's numbers that we've been working with for literally 100 years in direct marketing, and they can tell you the story. Look at how many customers come back. What's the repeat order rate? Look at how many people, how long do they stay with you? And all of those things are in the data. It's not just clicks. It's this obsession with clicks. It's not data per se, but the obsession with clicks. So anyway, let's go over to this other article. And this is Tom Roach. And like Tom Fishburne said, excellent article. The wrong and the short of it. What a great title too, right? And here's basically the idea. I believe what he's trying to say is that you can have sales activation and brand building, where you do a brand campaign and then you keep going with some couponing or some, I think this graph, which I think was actually from Les Bennett's paper that's also mentioned down in the article. I think this idea that we run brand ads and we run response ads is the misguided part, right? It's the misguided part. You can do both in an ad, especially in mail. You can do both because you've got the room to maneuver. It's not a 15-second spot. So, given that we have more like a 2-minute spot than we have a 15-second spot, it's not a one-off. It's a like that. And there's great graphs. There's great insights into here. Just this equilibrium is great, where we have long-term growth, sustainable long-term growth, and you can find the balance in here according to this. Short-termists restrict the long-term growth their marketing can achieve, and long-termists restrict its short-term sales impact. You know, it's really the fundamentals. Get Bob Stone's book, What the Fundamentals of Direct Marketing, and there's really answers to help you out. And so I'm going to put this up in the show notes. I'm not going to cover it all because the style consultant says I need shorter shows. But here's one more article I wanted to get to today. This is by my friend CX-Campbell, who did do an interview with us a while back. And labor shortages are hitting grocers hard, and self-checkout is not solving the problem. And I think actually she actually contributed this photo. I mean, took the photo. And I was looking for what store it was, but she was careful to not show me what store she's in. Probably it's on here someplace or something. But if you notice, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people shown. There might be another one in here, but 5 people shown and only 1 cart in the whole picture. This person doesn't seem to have a basket. This has a basket, but not much in it. This has a basket, like 1 item in it. So these are people trying to get out of the store. You know, run in, run out. You can tell they are. And they can't. They're in line here. And why? The long lines were because of a very frequent issues. People scanning coupons, requires employee intervention, item without barcode, requires employee intervention, I suppose like fruit or something. They put them on apples. I don't like it because I've eaten a few of those accidentally. Scan not working. Yeah, they've been pretty reliable. I got to say that part works. Wine purchases, and you probably heard me talk about how I always go check out when I have the wine and liquor. I go into the youngest checkout clerk. Say, are you old enough to check me out? Or I go to the oldest one. Luckily, there's enough turnover that I usually get a laugh. But anyway, all this, you know, I noticed after I read Deanne's article, I noticed that I needed intervention almost every time I do it, even though I'm a lot better than I used to be. And I remember going to Aldi. She mentions how long before people just go to Aldi and Publix because they check out. Aldi, that checkout gal that I saw just was winging stuff across the scanner. They are the fastest I've ever seen. Just amazing. And boy, I mean, they've got like it. I don't know. And then you bag your own, so there's nobody slowing it down by bagging it because that takes longer time. And they've got all these benches or countertops after the checkout so that you can bag it up appropriately. But basically, they're taking it from the shopping cart, throwing it across the scanner and into another shopping cart so you have the same receptacle as you're emptying out instead of emptying the big one into little ones, which makes no sense when you think about it. And there you go. Wonderful. And so Deanne says, the customer journey, you can do everything right through the customer journey, but it's their last experience that shoppers will remember most. Staffing your checkouts, even self-checkouts, is the single most important role in the store. Okay? Treat this critical role as a top priority. It is, and you'll have an easier time keeping it staffed and significantly shorten the wait times to send happier shoppers home with bigger baskets. And that's really why I quit going to Sam's Club, because there were as many people in line to check out as there were people in the store almost. It just was always, I always wanted just 1 or 2 items. My office used to be right next to a Sam's Club, or I mean, not quite walking distance, but probably walking distance. And I go in there for lunch, and we walk around and get the free samples. And but you know, you get 1 item and you stand in line for 15 minutes. It's just, we gave up. I also moved my office, so then it wasn't so close. But the main reason I don't go to those stores is because the checkout is, I mean, it's a long walk to shop, but it's also a long standing in line and waiting for something to happen. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. And don't forget to subscribe over at WDMA. You can also subscribe on YouTube. And then you get better alerts, it seems like. You'll always get an alert if you click the little bell. So go over there and subscribe, and you can get the show notes. It's worth it just for the the long and short of it.